Carole Robinson. Welcome to this edition of County Happenings, where we chat with the county mayor, Rogers Anderson, about what's happening in the county.
How are you today?
I am doing great. I still remember years ago when we were talking about what's happening in the county, and you told the story about a neighbor boy who always said, "Hey, Mr. Mayor."
And he's still very active. He works at one of the local grocery stores, Publix. I'll give him a free plug, and they've employ him on some part-time basis, and Tripp is doing a fine job. He's got wonderful mom and dad that have raised him, and the special need that he's got, they've just done a great job.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of things going on in Williamson County coming up. It just seems like every weekend there's something going on somewhere in this county. It's one thing that people in this county don't have to worry about is being bored.
Well, you know, last month it was Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah.
Many different activities downtown Franklin, Brentwood, the race, going to race.
Yes, Coleman, Susan G. Coleman, and that brought in thousands of people from all over.
Well, and you got others. Spring Hill's got their big ham.
The ham festival.
Ham festival, and Fairview has that little Bowie
Park
Park thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bowie Fest.
There's something going on across Williamson County.
Yep.
If, of course, now that does present challenges for us that have to drive.
Yeah, the elected officials.
But as far as tourism, the CVB, the Convention Visitors Bureau, headed up by new employee, Ellie Chin, and she's doing a wonderful job off and running, been with us a couple of months now, and promoting tourism. Tourism saves us tax dollars.
Yeah.
Now, they present problems in traffic, but people come to town and spend their money, and then, of course, this month, we've got the
Battle of Franklin thing, and I was talking with Eric Jacobson, and he was saying because I know there was concern when the Battle of Franklin Trust was going after trying to purchase some land that had businesses on and taking taxes out of the tax roll. But they've found that $30 million a year in tourist money is being put back into the tax fund.
It's an enormous number. I heard the Convention Visitors Bureau, CVB.
That is a mouthful.
It is. It's a tongue twister. Moved up to number 6 in the state. Now, you're not ever going to knock out Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg area up there, because, you know, the Smoky Mountains, one of the largest national park tourism.
And I think it's one of the only ones that's free.
I did not realize that. But anyway, it's a beautiful area, particularly this time of the year. The last 30 days and next few days, the leaves are changing. Even though we had all that dry weather in September, the colors were, maybe didn't extend as long, but they've been awful pretty.
Yeah.
And then you've got other cities that really have a strong tourism base. Nashville with the music industry, and Memphis is, of course, continue to be the Elvis capital of the world, and it should be, and many, many other attractions in the Memphis area. Chattanooga. If you haven't been to Chattanooga, and maybe I shouldn't be promoting another area, but Chattanooga's boardwalk, all their revitalization downtown,
becoming
beautiful.
A pretty town.
And the other parts of our area up in Jonesboro, which upper East Tennessee, which have a whole long week of storytelling and readings, and you know, very few people realize the capital of the state of Tennessee was in Jonesboro. I think for a week or a day until they got through fighting, but they established it. It's kind of like in Knoxville. There's a little spot up there that I think might have been the capital of the state for a couple of days during the war. But there's so many areas in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, and Williamson County and Franklin and Brentwood are beginning to really make inroads. In fact, here in our county, we're spending a lot of energy and time doing some paperwork and looking at what sports to bring to our town. We all know that soccer is a big sport here in our community for the weekends. In fact, our soccer complex over here on Downs Boulevard is probably the second or third largest city on any given Saturday when they're playing soccer.
My kids used to play over there years ago, and it's so much bigger than it was then. I get lost at the complex
I go
now.
over there and watch my grandson play, and I don't know where to park. I don't know what field to go to. I'm amazed at how many people come in and go out of there. And we're talking about continuing our rec programs. That's not what we're talking about here, but we're talking about those sports events that come to our town. You know, people don't realize we have a huge ice hockey facility that brings in a lot. You've got the
Predators sometimes practice over there.
They do practice. So you've got A1 games with solid volleyball, soccer.
You've got the Aqua Center.
Got the Aqua Center.
And they've got tournaments all the time.
Baseball, softball. Certainly, we mentioned soccer. Don't forget lacrosse is
a little Indian game.
doing a strong number. And I guess my all-time favorite for folks that are a little bit more touring age, that'd be me. It's called pickleball. We're not going to go into it, and it's a hot item right now. It's called pickleball. It gives you a good workout. You get a little sweat going. But it's you can have success. It's kind of like badminton. You know, I could never be a professional badminton player, but you can have a degree of success playing badminton if somebody doesn't get too hard on you. Whereas some of the other sports you have to practice, like golf and volleyball, but you name it, it is in our community.
I wondered how long it would take for pickleball to get here, and when I started seeing some advertisements for some tournaments, I go, oh my gosh.
You know, in the summertime each year we have the Senior Olympics put on by Blue Cross Blue Shield, and working with BGA, working with the Parks and Rec in the city, for about a week we'll have close to 2,000 seniors in our town having competition all over our area, and they play all of these sports. The one we don't see much anymore except when they're in town is horseshoes. Now, I kind of grew up with horseshoes on Sunday afternoon at the church sociable where the men were always there. Not many women played horseshoes, but today we see some women that can throw some mean horseshoes, and they can throw a leaner right on top of the old burly guy in a heartbeat, just take his numbers away. So if you like horseshoes, get involved with the Senior Olympics too.
So there's just all kinds of things going on. But we have a very special event coming up in November 11th, Veterans Day. We've had a Veterans Parade down Main Street for, good Lord, I don't know how many years. It's been going on 25 years at least, I think. 11 is a very important date that we recognize our veterans. This is not a memorial. It is a time that we recognize our men and women that have worn the uniform and been honorably discharged. And it's so sad that we're losing so many.
We're losing so many because every year, I know Tom Lawrence with WAKM spends an enormous amount of time and energy trying to get children, the bands, but we're losing our World War II veterans. Here in our county, World War II ended in the mid-1940s, and so most of those men and women that served during that period of time are getting way up in years.
Yeah, most of them are in their 90s about now.
So just recently on Channel 3 here, the cable channel that we've got here, and one of the other channel campuses, if you're outside of Comcast with Charter, it's something else. But we did a story on a gentleman named Mr. Linton out on Big Easty Fork Road, and a World War II veteran, still very active, great mind. I would ask you to kind of look at the TV guide, and you can always stream it, pull it up, and look at this gentleman and his wife that were from that era and the things they talked about. It was just wonderful. So the Veterans Day parade, we encourage people to come out, come down, line the sidewalks, because a lot of men and women, the Mrs. Lynch, Louise Lynch archives will be open that day, so you can certainly go in there. Amy Saunders, our archivist and museum courier, get that out in a minute. That day it'll be open. You can go in and see not only the quilts in the modern day Williamson County and the history of Williamson County, but you can also see a lot of military history that
Right,
day.
and if you come early, you can meet some of these people before they go out on the parade.
Oh, they enjoy it.
Yeah, they love
I'm a veteran, as you know, and I know your husband is, and I don't consider myself old yet, but I look in the mirror and something's happened. Either the mirror or somebody's.
It's that mirror.
It's that mirror. You know, I'm kind of gotten to the point in life I need to put on a lot of clothes where I look in the mirror because it's scaring me. But all of us as veterans do appreciate that recognition. We didn't. I don't think many men went in understanding what they were doing, and women too.
That's why that's why they go in when they're young.
They go in when they're young. There is no way that I could even do the physical anymore, much less put up with all the traveling and the sleepless nights and what our young people. I was watching on TV recently, the 101st up in Clarksville area. The men were coming back, and the women coming back from overseas, and the welcoming they got. Too many of our men, your husband, and the Vietnam era, which was the period we were in, they didn't get that recognition back in those days, and it was a very bitter, sour time in American history. Fortunately and thankfully, that has changed, and most of those men that served during Vietnam area, they've got that recognition for serving now, and people acknowledge that. But it wasn't all in the 70s when the war was ending. It was not that way.
It wasn't pretty, and we lost one of our Vietnam heroes, veterans, just recently. Mike Reeder. He was an inspiration to a lot of people. He had both his legs blown off in Vietnam, and he turned that into such a plus for his life. It changed his life. I know I had the opportunity to interview him a couple of years ago, and he wrote a book. He developed a wheelchair that for people that like to golf. He loved to golf, and he developed a special wheelchair that he can use when he's golfing. And he passed away just recently, and he's going to be missed.
We've had some other men. Dennis Miller, the CEO of Williamson Medical Center. And our prayers go out to his wife, Deborah. Dennis was at the hospital for a good 10 years, served under 2 board trustee chairmen. The current one is Russell Little, and the other one was Ike Brown. And I was reading some things the other day on Dennis, and wow, what a remarkable career he had just in the 10 years here. He had over 30 some odd years, 40 nearly, work in the healthcare industry, but he really elevated
Williamson Medical Center went from one level to another in his leadership, and really expanded.
And Chuck Eads passed away.
He was World War II veteran.
World War II veteran, county commission. Oftentimes Chuck and I were on different sides of issues, but Chuck was a very, very intelligent man that believed and fought passionately for his views and ideas, and so we extend our sympathy to his family too. On a larger note, and a bigger note, I guess, as we move on down the road, Williamson County continues to grow and flourish. Not all of our areas are hitting on all the cylinders, but our building permits are up significantly through the first 9 months of 2014.
A lot more hammering out there.
A lot more, and a real shortage of work crews doing a lot of the work. I'll give you a quick story. It's more in the commercial side. We're building a new public safety building down by the highway department and the jail in between there. And it took us 3 different times to get concrete bids. And now you can't build a building without concrete.
Right.
And the first
concrete and steel.
The first one we got 0. The second one we got 1, and so we told our construction manager we got to do better than this.
Yeah.
So the third time around, we finally got some competitive bids. They are so busy out there and all over the Nashville, Rutherford County. When we went through that spell back in 6, 7, and 8, a little bit of 9, a lot of the men and women that did these jobs moved on elsewhere or changed careers, and so now there's such a huge demand for construction.
We went through that where steel was hard to get at one time.
This is labor.
Yeah.
It's all about labor, just men and women that can do those jobs. And so there's a real live example right here in Williamson County.
Well, and Williamson County has, 4.8% unemployment. which is once again the lowest in the state.
We have been very blessed here in Williamson County. A lot of good jobs out there, and of course the pushes on to the Tennessee Promise, which is an initiative of the governors that here in November, all of the young people that finish high school and want to have education free of charge paid for by the lottery, not tax dollars, they had to sign up. And this is for the...
And there's a process they go to. You
do.
say free, but it's not totally free in that the lottery's paying for all of it. They have to pursue any scholarships and grants
That's
first.
correct.
And then the remaining money will be taken over.
The way that it works is a model that Jim Ayers, who owns a bank here, he pulled a model out of West Tennessee, and in East Tennessee it was another name. They had about 2 or 3 different groups who were field testing it in their individual the community. The governor said that's working, and the secret to it is the mentor programs that work with that
To keep them in school.
To keep them in school and get them signed up. There's a you can Google or go online and try to find contact the school, so they'll give you the link that you can click onto that. My plea, and I've signed up for it here in the last month, all of us as mayors got together and we had mayors for mentoring. And basically you get 5 individuals and you take about an hour worth of training and about 3 hours for a quarter of calling these people, these new students, and being sure that they have signed up, done this, done that. It's amazing to me that if you've never gone to college, or if you're in a family that's never had an individual to go to college,
you don't understand all the steps.
You don't understand the processes. And once you've finished high school, once you're no longer under the thumb of a guidance counselor, and these guidance counselors, they're working as hard as they can to find scholarship dollars, find you a ticket to go to a particular school. The Tennessee Promise program, though, what it's good for is it allows people to go to the community colleges. Also allows them to go to technical schools. And most of us in the workforce today realize in the next 25 years the year 2025, in the next 10 to 12 years out there, there's going to be a real shortage of men and women with technical and some skill sets that are going to require.
We still need somebody to fix our plumbing, to work on our vehicles and things like that, and that's what this technical thing is going to help with.
Not everyone is college bound.
Right.
And not everyone is going to get out and want to wear a suit and a tie. For many years, I didn't wear a suit and tie. Now, as you get a little older, you look forward to that suit and tie because you can't do all the things you could do when you were 20 and 30. But we really do need, it's just like here in this, the TV. You've got to have those technical people that can run these cameras and put on this show. And our high schools do a great job, but there's another level, and they can pick that up at, for an example, here at Columbia State. The new campuses have been built.
Yeah, and that's coming right along. That's going to be opening.
Well, they're looking at, I think the latest that I heard was in January of 16, late fall of next year, probably be a little bit later than that based on the weather. But either way, in 2016, that school will be opening its doors to a new campus for not just Williamson County students, but predominantly most of those students will come there. Also adults that maybe went away to the service, got married real early, entered the workforce, and now they realize, I need to brush up on some of my skill sets.
Or you're in a career path, but you want to get ahead, and you need to do a little bit more learning to do that.
So education, we often just talk about the excellent public education we've got here in Williamson County with Franklin Special School District and the Williamson County Schools. We've got some outstanding private schools also. But education there's another level for your community, and we're fortunate in Williamson County that over 50% of our people have a Bachelor of Science degree. We've got a certain segment of our population that's heavy in with a master's and better. But we realize in the future we are not capturing every single person, and most of the students that go away to the universities oftentimes don't come back as your plumbers and your mechanics, and because they've gotten a higher level of degree. But we need them right here in the county government. I could hire 2 people tomorrow to work in our maintenance and vehicles area, because I know we've got one opening. We never have enough good men that can crawl up on these roofs and fix the air conditioning and do the things that we need to do.
And that's all things, it touches all of our lives.
So if you're watching this show and you know somebody out there, make contact with our Human Resources Department.
And how does somebody become a mentor? Since you're going through the program right now, is it open to anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
You simply go on, you click, they're going to run a background check on you. But other than putting your name and rank in and putting it in, and be willing to spend a little time, go through some training, like I said, about an hour. You get to pick out 5 students. If you want to be a mentor, I chose, because it's most convenient for me, children out of Franklin High School. I think I put I know I put Franklin. It seems like I might have put Independence. Those are the 2 closest high schools in my area. Clicked on, and they'll give you a list and tell you what to do. It's pretty well like a sheet of paper that you've got there. You call them on this date, and it's just to give them encouragement. And anyone could do a mentor.
And sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them, or they just have a question they don't know who to go to. Because even if they're in the college setting, in Columbia State, it's a big school, but it's a small school. But it's still easy for kids to get lost.
If my memory serves me correct, that we had about 1,400 young people in Williamson County sign up. Now, not all of them will qualify, but 1,400 people signed up. So if you divide 5 into 1,400, you need that many mentors. Now, some people can do a lot more. I figure I can do 5, and that's my contribution back to it. And each of us as mayors from the different cities have all agreed that we'll try to find other mentors to try to tackle this. And in Fairview, the particular mayor over there decided not to run this time. So we're going to have a new mayor in the Fairview area. So we didn't get a mayor to participate in that. So I know Fairview will have a certain amount of students, and so I know you're out in that area, and I'm encouraging you and ringing your bell. Sign up, get that husband of yours to sign up to be a mentor. Give him something to do besides worry about
mowing the lawn.
Yeah, mowing the yard.
Now we've got, when we're talking about schools, we've got 2 new schools being built in Nolensville, both of them.
We do a high school and a K-8 school over there.
And they're all their concrete set, huh?
Yeah, their concrete, I think, is set. They've got the doors slotted to be open in August of 2016. It takes about 2 years for a high school and a K-8 school. You can do an elementary school in 1 year, but when you combine the 2, and we've got a few K-8 schools, Hillsborough and Sunset. And so kind of a different philosophy, a different model. You put the elementary on one end and the middle school folks, and you have a central core, maybe your cafeteria, your library, certain things that you don't have to duplicate in each school but put them on there. It does require a little bit larger footprint, but Dr. Looney and the school board seem to favor this model over the last 2 K-8 schools that we built. They're not for every community, but they are apparently
they're working where they are now. One last question. The time is going down, but I know people that are traveling 65 north and south with the Paytonsville bridges out, and there's been a tremendous amount of progress going on. But can you give us an update as to what's going on there?
Yeah, I'll try to give you a quick snapshot. First of all, we want to recognize an individual lost his life, and it was life.
Tragic.
And it was a tragic accident, and our thoughts go out to that family and to that business. Since that day, though, both bridges, the new and the old bridge, the one that was being built and the old bridge, both have been demolished and taken out of there, which means if you're going north or south, you can get off, but you can't cross over.
Yeah. I had to go cover something at the Ag Center this weekend. I had to go all the way around.
Go all the way around. We're being told by the Tennessee Department of Transportation under the leadership of John Schroer that the new bridge, new transportation from one side to the other will be opening in and around the Thanksgiving period of time. certainly.
So that's this year Thanksgiving.
That's right. It just shows you what can be done when you don't have to go through all of the red tape.
Yeah.
Even state government goes through red tape, but for them to be able to tear down 2 bridges and put one back in a window of right at 100 days is an amazing
Incredible,
feat.
incredible.
But during the meantime,
Yeah, we've got some safety issues that you've had to deal with
the
there.
people on the eastern side of 65, that's where the Ag Park side is, working with the city, working with our public safety and both the county side and the city side, really put a strain on fire protection for communities such as Ladd Park and all of those other folks that live out in Paytonsville Road. Normally, if you'd had a fire, the fire call would have been responding from Highway 96 and Highway and McCatcher, kind of where full service insurance is. Most everybody knows where that is, and so they go down they get on Highway 96, jump off at Paytonsville Road, and be over there, or they could go the back way through Carruthers. Well, now there's only one way to get there, and that's to go the back way. And that presented a challenge, and so the city leaders and the father leaders and the men and women that are involved decided that we'd open up the Ag Center and put a temporary permanent station there. And by that I mean put a full-fledged fire unit there, let the men and women live right there on the facilities, which Kenny Wallace has done an outstanding job building the programs out at the Ag Center. But now then we had to be mindful of the fact we also had fire stations and ambulances there to respond to those many people on that side of town. The county owns the facility, the city is running the fire, and of course the ambulance is coming out of the hospital. So the question kept coming up, how can we continue to structure this in a way that we would have permanent facilities out there? Because it's caused all of us to sit back and say, it probably will never happen again, but we've learned a valuable lesson that
things happen.
Things happen. So we're in the process now of dealing with Franklin and the county, whereby Franklin and the county would do some land swap, do some different things that we'd put a permanent facility out at the Ag Center under the city of Franklin. Now the key to all that is getting sewer out. There is no sewer out in that area.
That's right.
But it's at the door, and we're getting real close on that. So my hat goes off to those men and women that have worked hard to get this pulled off. And I know our time's about out.
And they're just giving us the sign, the big old O. We are done and out of here. See you next time on County Happenings.
Want to build memories with your child? Turn off the TV and read. Reading is one of the best family activities around. It's free and without commercials. Start with picture books for young children and build to storybooks and novels. Vary the length and topic of what you're reading. And read slowly enough so that your child can draw pictures in his mind about what is being read. Invite your child to turn the book's pages, or pause and ask your child to predict what's going to happen next in the story.
Mom, we haven't turned that car.
Young children like to read the same book over and over. During repeat readings, stop at a key word and let your child fill in that word.
Is that the burner bowl?
After you finish reading a book, reflect on it together. Build memories. Read. This Choose Success moment has been brought to you by the Middle Tennessee P16 Council.